My son caught his brother with his fiancée, and when he needed us most, we chose wrong. Hi, I'm Robert, 54, and the night my oldest son called me at midnight changed everything I thought I knew about loyalty, forgiveness, and family. I've been an electrical contractor most of my adult life. Married to Elaine for 31 years. 3 kids. Our daughter moved overseas years ago and stayed out of the mess, which honestly was probably smart. This story is about our 2 sons, and how we lost one of them forever. Our oldest is Marcus. He's 34 now. Or would be, if he still spoke to us. Trauma surgeon. The kind of kid teachers use as an example. Scholarships, honors, never missed a deadline, never missed a birthday. Bought his own place before 30. We were proud in that quiet, brag at barbecues way. Our younger son, Evan, is 30. Charismatic. Funny. The kind of guy people like instantly. But life never really clicked for him. He bounced between jobs, fitness coaching, sales, bartending. Nothing stuck. We told ourselves that was normal. Different kids, different paths. Still, Evan lived in Marcus's shadow, and whether we admitted it or not, he knew it. Then there was Lena. She'd been with Marcus for 4 years. 28, marketing manager. Confident, warm, always brought wine to dinner, and remembered Elaine's birthday without reminders. She felt like family long before there was a ring. When Marcus proposed, it felt inevitable, like the next logical chapter. The wedding was planned for May. Elaine helped with everything: dress fittings, tastings, seating charts. We had weekly dinners, group vacations, one summer rental by the coast where we grilled every night and stayed up playing cards like nothing in the world could touch us. That's important to understand. We weren't distant parents. We weren't neglectful. We were close. At least, I thought we were. Looking back, there were signs. Evan's comments when we visited Marcus's condo. Must be nice to afford a place like this. The way he'd shut down when Marcus talked about work. Elaine told me I was imagining things. He's just lost right now, Rob. Not everyone has it figured out early. I wanted to believe her. 3 weeks before everything exploded, we had Sunday dinner. Everyone was there. Marcus and Lena sat close, laughing. Evan was unusually upbeat, helpful, engaged. I remember thinking, maybe he's finally okay. Marcus mentioned he'd be flying out for a medical conference. 3 days. Lena would stay home. Evan offered to help her move some furniture while Marcus was gone. Nice of you, Elaine said. Marcus smiled. Thanks, man. They did that awkward half-hug brothers do. Nothing felt wrong. Marcus flew out Tuesday. Thursday night, my phone rang at 11:47 p.m. Marcus's name lit up the screen. I answered, already standing. Hey, son. Everything okay? Silence. Then his voice, unsteady, hollow. Dad, I need you to come to my place. Now. Don't bring Mom. Just you. My stomach dropped. I asked what happened. He didn't answer. He hung up. I grabbed my keys and drove faster than I should have, running through every nightmare scenario except the real one. I pulled up to his house just after midnight. His car was there. So was Evan's. And Lena's. That was the moment my chest tightened for the first time. I haven't breathed right since. I parked crooked in the driveway and barely shut the door before I saw Marcus sitting on the curb. Still in his dress shirt from the conference. Sleeves rolled up. Tie gone. Elbows on his knees. Staring at the ground like it might open up and swallow him. I'd never seen my son look small before. Marcus, I said, my voice breaking in a way I didn't recognize. What happened? Are you hurt? He looked up. His eyes weren't red from crying. They were worse than that. Red from being empty. I came home early, he said. Caught a late flight. Thought I'd surprise her. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Okay, and he laughed. It was the ugliest sound I've ever heard. I walked into my bedroom, he said flatly, and my brother was in my bed, with my fiancée. For a second, my brain rejected the sentence entirely. No, I said automatically. That's, Marcus, maybe you misunderstood. Maybe. He snapped his head up. Do not do that. I know what I saw. I stood there, dizzy, trying to force reality back into shape. Where are they now? I asked. Evan left. Lena's inside packing. I looked toward the house. The lights were on. A shadow passed behind the curtains. I should talk to them, I said, already moving. Marcus grabbed my arm. His grip was iron. Don't. There's nothing to explain. There has to be, I insisted. People don't just. They do, he cut in. When they don't care? He stood, brushed past me, and grabbed his overnight bag from his trunk. I'm going to a hotel. Tell Mom whatever you want. And then he was gone. I stood in his driveway for a full minute, staring at the empty space his car had occupied, before walking into the house. Lena was in the bedroom, shoving clothes into a suitcase like the room itself was attacking her. Mascara streaked down her face. She looked up when she saw me. Robert, How long? I asked. She closed her eyes. 3 months. The number hit harder than the act itself. 3 months of Sunday dinners. Holidays. Wedding planning. Laughing across my table. Get out, I said. She didn't argue. I sat on Marcus's couch until nearly 2 a.m., staring at nothing. When I finally drove home, Elaine was pacing the kitchen, phone in hand. Where have you been? I was about to call the police. I told her everything. She sank into a chair, hands over her mouth. Oh my God, she whispered. Those poor boys. No, I said quietly. One poor boy. Right then, headlights flashed through the window. A car door slammed. Elaine looked up. That's Evan. He stumbled inside minutes later, drunk, eyes glassy, guilt pouring off him. I messed up, Dad, he sobbed, collapsing into my arms. I didn't mean to. I love him. I swear I love my brother. Elaine rushed to us, stroking his hair. It's okay, she whispered. We're here. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. And that silence was the first real mistake. The week after that night felt like living inside a fire alarm that never shut off. Marcus wouldn't answer my calls. Not mine. Not Elaine's. Texts went unread. Voicemails sat there like unanswered prayers. Every time my phone buzzed, my chest jumped, and every time it wasn't him, the disappointment hit harder. On the 8th day, he finally picked up. Marcus, I said, breathless. Thank God. Please, we need to talk. There's nothing to talk about. We're your parents, Elaine said, leaning toward the phone like he could see her. We're here for you. Whatever you need. I don't need anything from you. I panicked. I started talking too fast, filling the silence. Evan's been staying with us, I said. He's not okay. He's spiraling. We're trying to help him. There was a pause. Then Marcus's voice dropped, cold and surgical. He wasn't spiraling when he was sleeping with my fiancée. The line went dead. 6 months passed. 6 long, rotting months. Evan never left. What was supposed to be a few days to cool off turned into weeks, then months. He lost his job, slept until noon, drank until midnight. Elaine brought him meals like he was recovering from surgery instead of consequences. He's depressed, she said every time I objected. He needs us. Meanwhile, Marcus became a ghost. Short replies. Fine. Busy. Can't talk. Elaine cried herself to sleep most nights. We're losing him, she whispered. I said, he needs time. I didn't believe it. Then Thanksgiving came. Elaine decided it would fix everything. If we can just get him here, she said. If he sees we're on his side. She called Marcus, put it on speaker. We just want you, she promised. Your father and me. Evan won't be here. A long silence. Then, okay. Elaine beamed like she'd cured cancer. 3 days later, Evan asked, can I come too? I need to apologize face to face. I said no. Elaine hesitated. Maybe they need to confront it, she said. To heal. I should have stopped it. I didn't. She never told Marcus. Thanksgiving morning, Evan dropped another bomb. I invited Lena. Elaine went pale. I felt something inside me finally crack. But we still didn't cancel. Because we were cowards. Marcus walked in that afternoon with a store-bought pie, trying. God, he was trying. Then he saw them. His body went rigid. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just turned around and left. At the door, he said one sentence that still rings in my ears. You made your choice. That was the day we actually lost him. Even if we didn't know it yet. Christmas was worse. By then, Marcus had blocked our numbers. Calls went straight to voicemail. Texts turned green and undelivered. I tried emailing his hospital account. It bounced back. No longer employed. Elaine unraveled. She'd sit at the kitchen table scrolling through old photos. Marcus as a baby. Marcus in his graduation gown. Marcus the day he bought his house. Like if she stared long enough, she could rewind time. He'll come around, she kept saying. He just needs to cool off. But deep down, I knew better. Evan, meanwhile, settled in like this was his reward. He stopped apologizing. Stopped mentioning Marcus at all. Slept late. Drank early. Elaine cooked his favorite meals and defended him every time I pushed back. What do you want me to do? she snapped one night. Throw him out. He's our son. That sentence became her shield. January came. Then February. Marcus vanished completely. A nurse we vaguely knew ran into Elaine at the grocery store and mentioned, casually, that Marcus had changed his number. Elaine nearly dropped her basket. She begged this woman in the produce aisle to pass along a message. Please. I just need to hear his voice. 2 days later, Elaine's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered on the first ring. Mom. She collapsed into a chair, sobbing. They agreed to meet on Christmas Day. Just 1 hour. Just us. No Evan. I felt dread instead of relief. Elaine cooked like it was a final exam. Turkey. Sides. Dessert. Like effort could replace trust. Marcus arrived on time. Thinner. Older. Guarded. We talked about nothing. And for a moment, I thought, maybe we can build from this. Then the doorbell rang. Elaine froze. I knew. Evan walked in, smiling like the past didn't exist. Marcus stood up slowly. You lied, he said. Elaine tried to explain. Evan tried to joke. I stayed silent. Marcus looked at me, and the disappointment in his eyes hurt worse than anger. There is no family, he said. Just people choosing the cheater over the one who did nothing wrong. He walked out. That was the last time Marcus spoke to us as parents. 2 days later, a courier delivered an envelope. A restraining order. No contact. Legal. Final. Elaine screamed. I just sat there. Because I knew we'd earned it. The years after the restraining order blurred together into something gray and heavy. Marcus didn't just cut contact. He erased himself. His number was disconnected. His email dead. The hospital said he'd resigned without notice. No forwarding address. No explanation. We filed a missing person report. The officer barely looked up from his desk. He's an adult who doesn't want contact, he said. That's not missing. That's a boundary. Elaine cried in the parking lot like they'd just buried him. Evan stayed. Always stayed. He dated Lena again for a while, like the destruction they caused was just shared trauma bonding. I nearly lost my mind the day I saw her car in our driveway. What the hell is wrong with you? I asked him. He shrugged. Marcus is gone anyway. What does it matter? That was the moment I realized my younger son wasn't broken. He was empty. Their relationship crashed within months. Lena moved away. Evan spiraled harder. Jobs came and went. Drinking stayed. Elaine kept rescuing him from consequences like it was her full-time job. Our marriage cracked under the weight of it. You're why we lost Marcus, I told her one night. She shot back. You stood there too. She wasn't wrong. We separated in year 4. I moved into a small apartment. Still paid bills at the house. Still dropped off money. Still felt responsible for a family that no longer existed. In year 6, Elaine found him. A photo from a medical conference online. A group shot. Different glasses. Beard. Same eyes. He'd changed his last name. We hired a private investigator. Marcus had rebuilt everything. New name. New state. New hospital. A fiancé. A son. A life that didn't include us. Elaine became obsessed, scrolling through photos of him coaching Little League, smiling on beaches, holding a child who didn't know her name. I'm going to message her, she said. I begged her not to. She did anyway. And for the first time in 7 years, Marcus agreed to meet. One condition. Just Elaine. No surprises. I already knew how this would end. Elaine told me about the meeting like it was a miracle. He agreed to talk, she said, voice shaking with hope. Just me and him. But hope had always been the problem. The address Marcus sent wasn't a cafe or neutral place. It was the old house. The one we raised him in. Elaine took that as a sign. I took it as a warning. You shouldn't be there, I told her. He was clear. It's my house, she said. And I'm his mother. I caved. Because that's what I'd been doing for years. Caving, avoiding conflict, choosing the path that felt easier in the moment. Saturday afternoon, I arrived early. Evan's truck was already in the driveway. Of course it was. Elaine was in the kitchen arranging cookies like she was hosting a play date instead of a reckoning. Evan's upstairs, she said quickly. I told him to stay there. I didn't argue. I didn't have the energy. At exactly 3 p.m., a car pulled up. Elaine stood so fast her chair scraped the floor. She opened the door, already crying. I heard a woman's cautious voice first. Then Marcus stepped inside. He saw me. And something in his face shut off completely. Not anger. Not pain. Nothing. Autumn, his fiancée, covered her mouth. You said it would just be you, she whispered. Elaine reached for him. Sweetheart, please. I don't have a mother. Marcus said calmly. Elaine made a sound I'll never forget. I stood up. Marcus, please. 5 minutes. He looked at me like a stranger. I stopped being your son 7 years ago. He took Autumn's hand and walked out. Elaine followed them to the driveway, begging, apologizing, unraveling. Marcus didn't raise his voice, didn't look back. 2 days later, the restraining order was delivered. Again, this time permanent. That was the moment I finally understood. We weren't abandoned. We were dismissed. 3 years have passed since that second restraining order. Nothing dramatic happened after that. No big blow-ups. No confrontations. Just silence. The kind that settles into your bones. Elaine and I never officially divorced. Paperwork requires conversations, and we ran out of things we were allowed to say to each other. We live separate lives now, orbiting the same wreckage. Evan still lives with her. He's 37, works part-time in a warehouse. Divorced after a short, messy marriage that we paid for because Elaine said, maybe stability will help him. It didn't. He doesn't talk about Marcus. Doesn't talk about Lena. It's like those names were deleted from his memory to make room for self-pity. When I stop by to drop off money or fix something around the house, Evan nods at me like a roommate. Not a son, just someone who happens to share DNA. Elaine spends most of her time on her phone, scrolling. Marcus coaching his son's soccer team. Marcus holding a birthday cake. Marcus standing beside Autumn, pregnant again, smiling in a way I never see on Evan's face. Our grandchildren will grow up never knowing our names. And that's the part people don't understand when I tell this story. We didn't lose Marcus in one night. We lost him slowly, every time we asked him to be understanding. Every time we said, family forgives, instead of you were wrong. Every time we chose peace in the room over justice for the one who was hurt. We thought loving both our sons equally meant protecting both of them. But love without accountability is just fear wearing a softer face. Marcus didn't disappear. He escaped. And the truth is, if I were him, I would have done the same. Hi, it's still me, Robert. And if you're waiting for a twist where everything magically works out, there isn't one. Marcus never contacted us again. He never sent photos. Never asked for forgiveness. Never softened with time. He didn't need closure. He built something better. From what little we know, he's thriving. New name. New state. A job where no one knows his past. A partner who chose him without betrayal. Children who see him as steady, safe, present. Everything we failed to be when it mattered. Evan still lives with Elaine. He's alive, technically. But there's no momentum. No growth. Just drifting. He avoids responsibility the same way he avoids mirrors. I don't hate him, but I don't trust him either. And that realization hurts more than anger ever could. Elaine and I exist in parallel regret. Sometimes she says, I just wanted to love them both. And I don't argue. Because that's true. But love isn't neutral. Love takes sides when someone is wronged. And when Marcus needed us to stand with him, to say this crossed a line, and you don't have to accept it, we asked him to carry our discomfort instead. So he left. He didn't punish us. He protected himself. And now we watch his life through fragments. Photos we shouldn't see, milestones we'll never attend, grandchildren who don't know our faces. We tell ourselves we were trying our best. But the truth is harder. We chose comfort over courage. We chose the son who stayed over the son who needed us most. And by the time we realized the cost, the door was already closed. If you're listening to this and you're the one being told to forgive and forget while your pain is minimized, this is your permission not to. And if you're the one asking someone to just move on so you don't have to face consequences, understand this. Sometimes, the person who walks away isn't breaking the family. They're surviving it. That's the end of the story. And it's one I'll carry for the rest of my life.